Rain lashed against the windows. Lily watched, a knot of anxiety tightening in her chest. The wind howled, mirroring the turmoil in her heart. Ethan was leaving. His words, "I need some space," echoed painfully in her ears. Lily traced patterns on the condensation-covered glass. Each raindrop felt like a tear. She couldn't cry. Their once vibrant love felt distant, shrouded in a mist of misunderstanding. She replayed their recent arguments, each sharp word a fresh wound. Lily's world, once filled with Ethan's laughter and warmth, felt unbearably cold. The storm outside seemed a physical manifestation of the tempest raging within her. She felt lost, adrift in a sea of uncertainty and fear. The slam of the front door reverberated through the apartment, leaving a silence that was deafening. Lily flinched, each creak of the floorboards amplifying her loneliness. Ethan was gone. The apartment, once a sanctuary of shared dreams and laughter, felt suffocating. Every corner held memories, each one a bittersweet reminder of their love and its fragility. Lily wandered aimlessly, the weight of their unspoken words pressing down on her. The scent of Ethan's cologne lingered in the air, a phantom presence that both comforted and tormented her. Lily clutched a discarded shirt of his, desperately seeking solace in its familiarity. The tears she'd held back finally spilled, a torrent of grief and confusion. Ethan drove, the city lights blurring into streaks of color. The hum of the engine was the only sound that filled the car, a stark contrast to the chaos that had become his life. He needed to escape, to breathe. The suffocating atmosphere of his apartment had become unbearable, and the open road was his only refuge. The air in their apartment had felt heavy, thick with unspoken resentment. Every corner seemed to echo with the ghosts of arguments past, and the silence was louder than any words. Their constant bickering had left him emotionally drained. He felt like a shadow of his former self, weighed down by the relentless tension. He hadn't meant to hurt Lily. The words had slipped out in the heat of the moment, but their impact lingered, a painful reminder of his own shortcomings. The last thing he wanted was to see the pain in her eyes. Each tear she shed felt like a dagger to his heart, a testament to his failure as a partner. But the walls felt like they were closing in. The once cozy apartment now felt like a prison, each room a cell that held memories of happier times now tainted by their discord. He craved solitude, a chance to silence the noise in his head and understand his own feelings. The quiet of nature called to him, promising a respite from the turmoil. The open road stretched before him, a metaphor for the uncertainty he felt. Each mile he drove was a step away from the chaos, a step towards clarity. Ethan didn't have all the answers, didn't know how to fix what was broken. But he knew that running away wasn't the solution. He needed to face his problems head on, but he knew he needed this time, this space to confront his own demons and find his way back to himself. Only then could he hope to mend the rift with Lily and rebuild what they had lost. Days turned into nights and nights into days, the silence in the apartment a constant reminder of Ethan's absence. The once lively space now felt like a hollow shell, echoing with memories of laughter and love. Lily moved through life in a daze, her mind clouded with thoughts of what once was. She wandered through crowded streets, feeling more alone than ever. Her heart a heavy weight in her chest. Sleep offered little respite, as her nights were plagued by restless tossing and turning. Her dreams haunted by fragmented memories of their happier times. She would wake up, reaching out for Ethan, only to find the cold, empty space beside her. She tried to focus on work, on everyday tasks, but her mind would drift back to Ethan. The mundane activities that once filled her days now felt meaningless. Ethan's absence was a gaping hole in her life, a void that nothing seemed to fill. Every empty chair, every vacant spot on the bed was a stark reminder of what she had lost. Every shared joke with colleagues felt hollow, every laugh forced. She would smile, but it never reached her eyes. Every loving couple she passed on the street only served to intensify her pain. She would look away, unable to bear the sight of their happiness. The sight of others' joy was a cruel reminder of her own sorrow. Her eyes would well up with tears, and she would quickly blink them away. Lily tried to convince herself that she was strong, independent. She would look in the mirror, telling herself she could get through this. But the truth was, she missed Ethan terribly. She missed their easy banter, his infectious laugh, the way he could always make her feel safe and loved. Those moments replayed in her mind, a bittersweet reminder of what she had lost. The way he could always make her feel secure, wrapping her in his arms and making the world seem right again. Without him, everything felt off kilter. The separation, intended to heal, felt like it was tearing her apart. She sought solace in therapy, in journaling, but nothing seemed to ease the ache in her heart. The pain was a constant companion, a shadow that followed her everywhere. She would hug herself, trying to hold the pieces together, but it felt like she was falling apart. Section 5. Yearning for connection. Ethan wandered through his temporary apartment, the unfamiliar surroundings amplifying his sense of displacement. The silence he had craved now felt oppressive, the solitude suffocating. He found himself reaching for his phone, wanting to call Lily to hear her voice. But the memory of their last argument, the hurt in her eyes, held. He knew he needed to work through his own issues before he could bridge the chasm that had grown between them. Ethan missed Lily intensely. He missed their shared routines, their intimate moments, the way she could unravel his anxieties with a single touch. The realization hit him hard. He hadn't been fighting for space. He had been pushing away the one person who truly mattered. Section 6. The courage to reach out. A fragile hope bloomed in Lily's chest. Ethan had called. His voice, hesitant at first, had been enough to unleash a torrent of emotions. Relief, longing, a flicker of anger. They talked, their words tentative, like hesitant steps on unfamiliar ground. Lily listened as Ethan spoke of his need for introspection, his struggle to articulate his feelings. She recognized the vulnerability in his voice, the echo of her own pain. Lily took a deep breath, her voice trembling slightly as she spoke. She shared her own hurt, her fear that their love was slipping away. But she also spoke of forgiveness, of her desire to rebuild their connection, stronger than before. Section 7. A bridge across the divide. They met at their favorite cafe, the familiar aroma of coffee and pastries a comforting constant. The initial awkwardness soon gave way to a hesitant conversation, punctuated by long silences and understanding smiles. Ethan reached for Lily's hand, his touch sending a jolt of electricity through her. In that moment, words felt superfluous. Their eyes met, reflecting a shared history, a love that had weathered the storm. They talked, really talked, for the first time in months. They spoke of their individual struggles, their insecurities and fears. The honesty was painful but cathartic. Each shared vulnerability was a brick rebuilding the bridge that had threatened to crumble beneath the weight of their unspoken words. Section 8. Healing and understanding. The journey back to each other was slow, marked by moments of doubt and bursts of rediscovered joy. They learned to communicate more openly, to listen with their hearts as well as their ears. Ethan realized that his need for solitude didn't diminish his love for Lily. Lily understood that Ethan's silence wasn't indifference, but a struggle to articulate his emotions. They began to appreciate their differences, recognizing that their individual quirks were what made their bond so unique. The storm had passed, leaving behind a sky washed clean, the air fresh and invigorating. Their love, tested by the tempest, had emerged stronger, more resilient. They had learned that true love wasn't the absence of storms, but the ability to weather them together. Section 9. Love renewed. This is a story of rekindled love, a journey of two souls finding their way back to each other after being lost in the maze of life. Lily watched as Ethan slept, his face relaxed, a peaceful smile playing on his lips. She marveled at how serene he looked, a stark contrast to the turmoil they had faced. The morning light streamed through the window, painting the room in a warm glow. It was as if the universe itself was blessing their renewed bond, casting a gentle light on their path forward. She felt a surge of love for this man, her man who was flawed and complex, just like her. Their imperfections made their love real, raw, and beautiful. They had emerged from the crucible of their separation, their love tempered by the fires of adversity. Each trial had strengthened their bond, making it unbreakable. Way that relationships required nurturing, constant communication, and a willingness to embrace vulnerability. It was a lesson that had come with tears and heartache, but it was worth every moment. Lily leaned down and kissed Ethan softly, a silent promise woven into the gesture. It was a promise of unwavering support, of standing by each other through thick and thin. They still had challenges ahead, obstacles to overcome, but now they faced them with a renewed sense of purpose and a deeper understanding of each other, but they would face them together, their love the guiding star illuminating their path. Hand in hand, they were ready to take on the world, their hearts beating in unison. The storm had passed, leaving behind the promise of a brighter, more fulfilling future. They had weathered the tempest and emerged stronger, their love a beacon of hope and resilience.